Welcome to Wager Talk TV. I am Kelly Stewart, joined with Marco D'Angelo. Marco, it is rivalry week. I can't even say that. Rivalry week. God, that's terrible. And I'm really excited. There's a lot of really awesome games, some not so awesome games, but there are some large numbers here, some double-digit favorites. I am shocked. How do you go about handicapping rivalry week?
Well, the first thing I do is I take my stat book, all my stats for the season, I just throw them right out the window because it is rivalry week. You have to handicap differently this week. If you look at just the numbers, you're going to land yourself on all of the, the favorites. And they're going to be calling a stretcher by Saturday night for you after the weekend. And here's why, Kelly. For a lot of these teams, this week is their bowl game. They're playing their rival. Their rival might have something to play for, might be heading to a big bowl or the conference championship the following week. And the other team, well, they're sitting at home. This is their last game of the season. They're not going anywhere. So what better to make their season and make them feel better about themselves than to rise up and have that big game, their Super Bowl or their so-called bowl game rivalry?
Yeah, it's tough because it's like, how do you quantify motivation and emotion in these teams? Because they do hate each other, and they've been rivals, and some of these seniors have been there for 4 or 5 years, and you're right, they don't get a bowl game. So how do you quantify that as from a mathematical perspective? You can't.
No, and that's what I've always said all along. You do have to use stats. Don't get me wrong. Stats and numbers, guys, we always buck heads because I still use stats. You have to. But stats don't live and breathe. And this rivalry is emotion, as you said, teams that are rising to the occasion. And then the other factor that you have is these teams that have so much to play for, they start tightening up. We saw it last week. How many of the teams that had big games coming up this week
laid an egg?
Michigan barely got by Indiana. Ohio State was life and death with Maryland, had to go to overtime. We saw it game after game after game last week because at this time, it's 20 and 22-year-old kids out there, Kelly. And the coaches start playing not to lose, just playing to win because they don't need style points. They just have to win and move on. There'll be situations where a team has their conference championship already locked up and they have to play it next week. How much, even though this is your rivalry, next week is bigger. It's more important. But for the other team that's not going, it is their big game. So I like to look at that. And when you're getting inflated numbers because of the so-called have-to-win scenario, you're getting value. And we sit here and talk all the time about value. Well, that's where you find it. These teams in a must-win situation are going to be inflated numbers. Look for those situations.
Awesome stuff from Marco. Guys, are you a member of the Wager Talk Text Club? It's 100% free. Just text Wager Talk to 33222 and get a $10 coupon for just signing up.